He's a former executive with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, and also senior vice president with FJC Security Services. Matt, thanks so much for being with us. This killer drove 800 miles from Kansas City here to Baton Rouge via Dallas. What does that tell you about his mindset, his desire to travel all that way to kill officers?
Well, John, the only thing that tells me is that he was committed to his pathological ideology. And, you know, we've seen this in the past in other incidents that have galvanized communities. And half of the problem that law enforcement and communities have is that people come into those communities from outside of those communities and wreak the greatest havoc. And that's what you've seen in this case.
Now, this happens not 2 weeks after 5 officers in Dallas were shot dead after a protest there. Matt, you get the sense, or it's understandable, if talking to officers, you get the sense that they feel right now that they are being hunted.
Right. Well, you can't blame them given what's happened over the past several weeks. Listen, the climate has been here. You know, John, I call it coptics, and that's the optics of policing in a digital age. Everything is on stage in real time, in real action, and that's what we're seeing week after week. But this has got to stop.
It's got to stop. This killer left a video trail, an online social media trail. He'd been ranting and raving for some time. He talked about violence for some time. Going forward, what do investigators need now to do? What do you need to be on the lookout for if you're in a police force or you are law enforcement to keep this from happening again?
Well, you know, this is no different than what the same type of anti-government zealotry that we've seen in other organizations. Groups like the Southern Poverty Law Center and others and the intel community track these organizations. But, you know, oftentimes these rants and these raves and this pathological behavior, whether it's manifested on YouTube or other social media sites, is just seen as just that. It's hard to tell when somebody's going to act or execute what they're actually talking about. But certainly in cases recently, you've seen it over and over again in Dallas and now in Baton Rouge.
Meantime, if you are a police officer, Matt, what precautions should you take? I mean, forces all over the country are already instituting these rules where no one is allowed to go on patrol foot or even in a vehicle by yourself. Don't go on break by yourself.
Well, you know, it's been my experience after 27 years in law enforcement that no matter what the interaction and no matter how tense things get, there are a very small percentage of people that will actually challenge us to the degree that we're exchanging gunfire, getting in these hostile situations. The rest of the world are law-abiding, peaceful citizens. But when it comes to anti-government zealots, like this gentleman was, or like the suspect in Dallas or other people along the way, there's no telling what they'll do or what lengths that they'll try to get their message across. And unfortunately, killing police officers has become a process and a part of it.
But if you are an officer right now in this country, be alert, be on the lookout, take precautions. Matt, Horace, thanks so much for being with us.
Have a great day.
All right, President.